Hi, everybody. Well, it's Sunday again, and as I said before, because I did two consecutive in a row, this is my second one. So, welcome again to our another work with me. Today, I am actually at another coffee shop than last one. Hopefully, it's a bit more quiet, because you see various music. I'm going to be playing my own music, and this time we're going to be working with we're going to be studying in Central Yarnum, Bloodborne. I have a slightly unhealthy addiction to Bloodborne, okay? I have actually, listened to the Pale Blood Hunt. So, again, for any of you guys who come in, if you know me, you know me. If you don't know me, and this is kind of how you stumbled into this, which I don't know how high. This live stream, this on Sundays, is a part of an accountability program that I'm in. As one of my accountability, if I do not meet my goals, I must produce a live stream. And yeah, my live stream is a thing. Woo! So, of course, I will be on here for at least an hour. We're going to be working, and if you guys ever pop up and ask me questions, I will be more happy to answer. And you will also be able to watch me later on. Last week was a bit of extreme, but that is also because I was a little bit out of sorts. And yeah, and it's a little bit very much so a thing. I'm just really, really excited. This time, however, we're working on the big dog, the dog that gets me in trouble. This big thing right here, it is part of In the Tower. As I said, my In the Tower notebook. As I explained for my last live stream, I have paper mediums for all my work. In the tower, due to just how much stuff lives in there, it doesn't just get like a little folder in a notebook. It gets an entire binder. So, of course, as per usual, we're gonna get into part of the working, and as I said, Bloodborne is gonna be what we're working on right now. And yeah, this is gonna be a little bit fun. And if you guys miss me, you can always capture me on later on making comments, and I will pop up later on lives and stuff. Also, I might be starting around next month, actually putting on videos on my Patreon and stuff, which means other stuff, so I'll be updated later on. Now, why am I solely working on In the Tower? Well, there is a good reason for that, and I'm going to reveal it now, my big giggly secret, which also admit I'm so proud of it. In the Tower is going to be a choice of game script game. So it's going to be a hosted game because choice of doesn't let you use the choice of name originally when you're just writing underneath them at first. You have to go to the hosted game. So it's going to be a hosted game, choice of game. This is based on a choice script. The reason why that's important is that there's always trial periods, work in progresses and everything else. So I'm going to announce what I was giggling about last time. Around August 6th or something, around that weekend, I will release a first node demo. It's not the full playthrough. The full playthrough, that I said, it's going to be in November. But I'm actually going to release you guys a first node playthrough. So literally, people can look up the first node, tell me how they feel about the story. This is mainly story proper. Like the full playthrough one is going to be much more thorough, much more everything else. But I want to at least test y'all on the first node, just to let you see a little peek. Because besides certain bits of my world, I've been very tight-lipped about it. Because I've been tight-lipped about it, it is, I feel like it's a good idea. Because I have been drowned into the stories, like the world building of most of all my stories, and you get into your head a little bit. You don't know that's translating well on paper. And yeah, it's definitely a translation thing because I'm translating things back and forth from paper to my Notion, Notion and paper to the whole thing. So it's a bit more complicated than that. So in order to get that done, and for me to give you some tests and everything else, I got to work on a few more features. And what I'm going to be working on right now is finishing work on these bad boys. And you're thinking, aren't you working on them? Aren't they already in the game? Yes, they are. They're already in the story. You already can pick and select these guys. But if you don't know who these are, this is the first one, our main path, as I call it, because you need the main branch. Demi, one of your romantic partners. I say that with quotation marks. But we're going to start working on them a little bit more because I guess I would say advertisement wise and other stuff, they're not that separate from each other. And I think I need to do that, especially if I want to eventually allow people to pick teams on who's their favorite one because I know there will be teams. I lived through Twilight. Well, now that all that loveliness has been out of the way, it's time to play. what exactly? I would love to read it. I'll explain about 7 minutes. Ah, we have reached our first break, which in Bloodborne is one of these little points. It is the candle points. Yes, I'm not sure. So I'm sure you noticed this time around I am doing a lot of reading. There's a reason for that. There was a very good reason for that. Since I'm focusing mainly on DD7 this time, I like to kind of read like all the source material, you can almost say, pure. I mean, I just use all my work. I'll reread certain chapters beforehand. I'll reread certain notes beforehand. I'll just reread a lot of stuff to make sure I am in the proper mind frame with each character. And the 7 are definitely frames by themselves. Right now, I'm working on Soul. Reason why is because I want the flavor text in the tower being a choice of games. You get to choose things. You get to choose your gender. You get to choose certain things, and you get to choose your romantic partner, which is what Choice of is actually really famous for. Now, there is a thing amongst choice of gamers. I've read in a bunch of the forums and certain other things called false choices, or choices that don't have to be like really imperatively heavy. And the last thing you want to do is make your romantic characters feel duplicated or almost a false choice. Like it's just a skin that you could have swapped on for whatever you wanted. So to make them feel very much different from each other, which in building blocks from the beginning of the storyline I made sure to do is really just make sure these characters are separate and there really are separate things about them that not only carry on in the first story, but there is a planned sequel. But of course, I'm not getting my head so too far. Gotta get the first one out. Get the second one out a bit later. So, as I said, there is a planned sequel. The planned sequel is part of a bigger plot point in your storyline. In the tower, as a story, you start off meeting these seven characters. You'll meet them again in book two, but they are grown into themselves and they are part of your problem. So advertising them, trying to figure out advertising and stuff for them is important because I am going to be using this in part two. So this is a very much careful planning because it's going to be something that is symbolic without being too revealing. As again, as I said, I'm a Twilight kid. Okay, I was born in the Twilight. I didn't like Twilight personally. I'm sorry to all you Twilight fans. I didn't like Twilight particularly, but I was around when Twilight craze came in, and so I know personally being a Twilight kid during that era, people are going to pick sides. And if I want to represent my characters, particularly because again, in the choice of game, you are the main character. Even if the main character is kind of something I constructed because I can't give you like full unlimited access, that would just take forever, and I would be in production for like 10,000 years. You get to pick who are you, where do you start off in this lovely system, and who you're going to be interacting with in the time. So I have to make these representations true, not only when you meet them, but book two, when you meet them again. These have to equal true. So that's a very hard thing for me, just since I'm not good at social media posting, and this is like social media posting advertising. It's very hard for me to pick all that. And it's also hard because I'm going to be using this hopefully to build interest, to build momentum up to the November game test in and out of choice of games. Build that momentum, build all those characters out. So, yeah, it's very much intense. And so again, because this is very intense, it's very hard detail work in that brain. Because I mean, each one of these characters, just for their prime work, has like 2 to 3 pages, and this is just like the basic of basics. Like, if I show you their wikis, I would cry. I would cry. That's the most simplest thing I would tell you. I would be sounding like a little child because they wikis could be a whole photo by themselves. But I'm not really trying to focus on wikis. I'm trying to figure out what exactly is advertising it, truly presenting them. And I want to really get that very much working on it. Because again, there's going to be teams, there's going to be a whole selection, and if you want to advertise these characters as a form of a teaser, you want them to have unique signatures. You want people to take one look at something, like a character silhouette in like manga or like game development, and you want to be able to take that silhouette, take that symbol, and immediately have your audience know that's Diggle, that's Marcus, that's Selena, that's Tia. Immediately. But where are we this time? In Yarmouth. Oh, we're by the first monster. Congratulations, people. We're back in work. About to gain some insight. Okay, so we are on our second break. We're currently at the church. Oh, that's a very goofy side. So remember the adage, Lawrence. Beware the old blood. Okay. I'm not gonna get into blood. We'll be here all day. So why would I want to do a test mode? Well, as I said, I'm in my own head a lot of times. Like there are family wikis, there's personal character wikis, there is actually a character movement chart. No one will not show that. Well, I don't know. If someone wants to join Patreon of mine and demand to see the character movement chart up to a node, I will actually show them that node of where everyone is. It would be deeply chaotic. That would be a spreadsheet. I do not have an Excel spreadsheet, but enough motivation, enough help. I'd be inclined to make an Excel sheet to show where everyone is in a node. But a node, if you're wondering, my brain how I think of nodes is big events. Because Tracer Games, like most, choose your own ventures, you have to basically bring everything back to a similar event. Because your core eventually cannot keep up with everything. You kind of bring everything back into a node, which is an event, kind of like a fixed point event in your nodes. So again, you guys would be dealing with node 0 to node 1, the first node, technically. I call this node 0 because this is the important one. Is your intro. This is where you make all your choices, like gender, your rank, all sorts of stuff. And then all of the choices down to node 1, the party. Now, again, this is to see if I've matched everything tonally, if I have made characters different and everything else. So I'm going to work out as much tweaks as I can before I get to the point of getting it to work in progress. Because if I don't fix tonally some ish, and then I find out about it and work in progress, I'm going to cry. Because these books are thick. Currently, all the nodes of the different paths I'm at. I'll be honest, I lost count of words. I lost true count, because I estimated the count with the slight alterations. I'm probably over 100,000 words, but I lost true count, 70,000 words ago. And I mean alterations. It's there's a choice of game, depending on the choices do rapidly alter. To understand how a tree would alter in this line, this is what you're looking at. You get introduced, you figure out if you're male and female, and then the tree immediately splits off, depending on what other choices you have, and then the choices just split off. But for all intended purposes, you start off with a tree that branched off into 6 different choices already, just as the beginning started. And then if you on the potential 6 love interests, that's 36 branches of a tree. And that's just the basics. That is just the 6 love interests. And the 3 main rank clouds based on what gender you are. And I want to make choice equal true for all of my choices. I cannot say I'm going to make it. This will be my first fully published choice of game. So there's going to be some that choice will be false. I'm going to. So one of the things I have to do is duplicate certain scenarios, just tweak them based on gender. That does add to your word count really fast. But you know, it basically you have to be very careful to keep up with things. So for me, especially with the like little engine that was made for me, I have to keep them almost color coded in binder and like on the like no, I'm dead serious. There is a whole portion of my binder that is actually for everyone's understand how crazy this is. There's a whole part of the binder that is the written, the written part of the whole choices. So I have the whole thing of the choices just written out here, and they get color coded very fast. There's a moment I want you to save me from my own craziness. But, haha, we're back into work. And we are, we are inside the church where you get to meet one of the characters. Yep, we are in one of the sanctuary zones. The sanctuary bring the characters. Fun fact, there's actually 2 characters that are tricks. In Bloodborne, I will tell you immediately, I don't like the blood sentence. That's all I'm going to tell you. Get to work. I will talk to you on the 3rd pick.
Book Club Summer Camp.
Well, of course, I will slowly be building an OST, a working OST. Um, Even though it's not original, but I will be making a soundtrack, a working soundtrack. Should I say WST for working soundtrack? Alright. I will be making a soundtrack for each of my game pieces. And no, these are not. Let's put it this way: if I were to finish making everything and I wanted to make a playlist for you to listen to while you are dealing with certain of the chapters and notes, that would be a whole different vibe and feel. I just feel like that's up to player discretion, depending how fast and loose you're playing. Because I know some of you, you're gonna do some shit. I think the main thing I will be looking into is what soundtracks I listen to when I do most of the hardcore grinding. I mean, my punishment is Sundays. I don't do Sundays well. Sunday and me, well, Mondays and me fighting. I have learned to accept that. Me working on Sundays is it's an abnormality. I don't agree with it. But I think this weekend I will slowly begin making overtures on my TikToks and stuff, so you can all slowly begin to look into the world of In the Tower and the world of Jump Song and Mythology. Of course, you're wondering which ones are these? In the Tower? Yeah, these are my bookmarks. But I like to ignore this one. This one's actually working for someone else. But I was allowed to do it. But this is Center Tower. This is Trimble and Rattlin. This is Smith King. This one is London. Why did I put all four of them behind her? I'm lazy. I'm deeply lazy. That's my compliment with timing and stuff. It's how I get into trouble. Part of it maybe video is others is just me being entangled with like 20 different other things. Again, I feel like in order to improve my sociability being on camera, because I'm not that good at being social being on camera. I'm not that social hearing my voice recorded. I'm going to actually do a bunch of work in progress, talking about what am I doing right now. Yeah, even if it's I'll be talking about the subjects I'll be working with. I need to get a lot of work. Not too many to spoil, but just a lot of work of the world. Because I am working to tighten up a lot of things, like my profile wikis and everything else, because I do feel like just like Unraveling, there is almost a whole glossary of information that you might be on. I would probably publish this long, like as a full wiki, long after. I wouldn't say long after. I wouldn't be that petty. I would do it like probably. What do you think is a good time? 2 months? 3? After the first game? So I'm thinking like after that sort of time, there should be enough players. You can release the guide, be all sneaky about it. So we'd be like, yeah, you want to look into some more information. Or should I make that information slightly pay to play? Because that would be almost cheating if you were someone who was just playing the game, because you're going to be shifting through that knowledge as the main character. Choices. I will be releasing that. But as I do these work videos, I will have them first up on Patreon. Then I will have them on YouTube. So that's the other thing. I'm deciding just to keep this stuff. I will actually be doing small videos and shorts, building the world, building these characters bit by bit, piece by piece, to get people interested, and slowly beginning to launch the world. And once the world is ready for its test demo, releasing it, because I love that idea for the player, and also hopefully gaining enough of a fan base that people will be interested in my work and I'll be too pressured not to release it. I said mid-2027 because I don't know how long it will take for me to go through the work in progress on the choice of games proper forms before I am, greenlit into it. But I promise once the work in progress testing goes through and people have given me 1,000 notes and I have figured out how to edit and everything else to get the green light, I would literally have that, work through everything else, and as soon as it got released, I would be like almost having a release party. I'll be excited. Now, question is, why did I say Game of Thrones? Well, plot armor not included. I mean, I guess what you have to say is because choose your own adventures. I was a Goose Bumps kid, so I was, one of the Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure books. I forgot the exact name. Scholastic Era Choose Your Own Adventure. What people forgot is that a lot of those have bad endings. A lot of those have bad endings. And because they had bad ends, it was the understanding that part of your tale can have your main character effed up kind of being revived with like certain games, like One Shot, Off, Undertale, kind of revived that idea of like, your choices have consequences, deadly consequences. And if you're thinking that, in the name of progression, the game is not gonna allow you to like fuck up royally, but also like Game of Thrones, like there's no real good guys here. Like there's some characters you immediately root for, but like, we die like Ned Stark in this house. Like, do you understand? Good doesn't always mean you get to live, and that is a bigger part of the storyline. Your main character is not safe. They're not safe. They're not safe at all. They are, by all intents and purposes, just in danger. And the choices they make, you as the reader might think it's not moral, it's not right, or, this seems a little sneaky. You gotta realize, in the name of the game of survival, in the name of the game of gaining power, especially in an already corrupt system, purposely starting shit might be the way you get to live tomorrow. And so that's why I say it's very Game of Thrones-esque. You have houses. The houses have grudges. These houses have hundreds of years. Each house is at least 100 years old. At least. All these houses have one thing. All of them are great in one aspect or another. I think that is the main thing. Like, even the three houses, which I'm not telling you house for, but the three houses in which your character can possibly be in, you meet the characters, you meet these people, and you're already started. You don't start in the benefit. You don't start as the beloved child. You're not the golden child in this family. You don't start off being loved. You start the spare. And in this world, spare child is not a good word. Being a spare puts you in immediate and unadulterated danger. But I feel like, again, there should be some mini videos. I'll start explaining some things back and forth. I should have some work in progresses, some design stuff. It should look perfect. I'm going to try and make it look perfect. I'm not going to try and make it perfect. Listen. I already know about the whole get it done and get it perfect. This is why, Snoopy and Cheeky thought it was a good idea to release a preview test mode before the whole week. We're going to talk this test mode, okay? Let's not start that. I already know. I already know. But I do want my videos to at least be a little bit entertaining. After all, we are talking about We're talking about world description. And in the tower, besides trouble and unraveling, in the tower, at this point in development, has the most lore rich environment because you got a lot of houses, you have a lot of things about the fates, you have a lot of things about certain characters you're going to be introduced to. And this is very much so a very heavy combo. It's gonna be that way for a minute, I think, because I have to describe the world. I have to describe some major incidences. I have to describe the starting scenario. There's a lot to describe. I think there is a lot more to be said about it at the time. Trouble Unraveling has a lot of lore too. Very kind of thought floaty, you know, like streamlined consciousness kind of way. It makes sense in their world, but it's very streamlined consciousness, singularity wise. But in the tower, much more. So I think, properly stacked, you will have a lot of fun with that. Okay, we're on break. This is going to be actually our final break, and I will low key do one more session, but I feel like this is where we'll quickly decide to end things for today. I did a full 2 hours last time, and that was very intense, and I was very So yeah, I feel like I will start dropping shorts and TikTok drops. So here's the thing. You guys haven't popped into my things before, and I understand. I'm I'm not upset. This is what you can catch me on VOD to be all pretty done. This is this is just live, and yeah. So well, we have traveled very far in Yarnum, in the land of Bloodborne. We are currently in the Hunter's Dream. If you do not know anything of Bloodborne lore, just let's say this is the same spot for us to drop off. So, with this clocking out, I hope you guys have a very wonderful rest of your week. Hope you're staying productive and everything else. Hope to catch you guys later. And hopefully, next time you see or hear me, I will be more energized throughout the week as we begin to dive into the worlds I create. Hope you guys really do have a fun time. Remember to fear the old blood, but join the blood. With those confusing words, I say bye bye.